Hello, this is just a little postscript to Generations Revisited, which I really hope you've enjoyed. I'm speaking to you from Dublin in Ireland, 35 years after those pieces were first filmed, and it's as vivid in my memory today as it was a week after doing it. And what I would like to do is pay tribute to the women for all of the reasons that I've alluded to throughout the commentary before the programmes to you, in that the lack of fanfare, the lack of broadcasting themselves, the lack of publicists being involved or PR people who just came along and presented themselves having agreed to be part of this and said that they would do so. It was very impressive. And I'd like to thank them all. We've lost 3 of them. Siobhan McKenna, as I think I explained, was dead within 5 months. She died in the November of 1986, very suddenly and unexpectedly. And then Sybil Connolly, who was the last in the series, episode 8, passed away in 1998. And Detta O'Cahoyne, by the time she had reached this period of her life, she had become a baroness. She had been put on the crossbenches of the House of Lords by John Major on the industrial panel, and she passed away on the 23rd of April last. So we've lost 3 of them, and the others, I'm glad to say, are thriving, and they did make a fine contribution to their areas of expertise and business and the world of creative arts, fashion, theatre and film. And we're highly indebted to them for all that they've done. And there were contributions beyond what they did as part of their jobs. As I think I said to you, Siobhan McKenna was a great humanitarian, supporter and activist in human rights issues, involved in the anti-apartheid movement in Ireland, and a member of the Council of State, which is a group of people appointed by the President of Ireland to be as a kind of backup and advisory board to him on matters of difficulty and sensitivity that they can contribute to with all that they have to offer. And Detta O'Cahoyne had contributed extensively in the House of Lords. She received 2 very bad and very critical and very unfair, inaccurate, and I think very damaging obituaries, one from the London Telegraph, one from the Times, and I know that a lot of her family and friends were very badly hurt by that, and I was at the head of that posse, and I was extremely hurt but also very angry, and I wrote to both of those editors registering my complaints and looking for an acknowledgement of the inaccuracies and the context and the out-and-out misogyny and I think racism. I think there was anti-Irish element in it, although perhaps I would be sensitive to picking that up. But they were definitely misogynist and very unfair. And they all focused on 4 years out of a career in business of 5 decades, over 5 decades. 4 years that she spent as a manager director of the Barbican Centre in London, and didn't give credit to the context in which she had taken over, the challenges that she had in turning an enterprise that was sinking fast, in terrible trouble financially, and she was asked to turn those losses around into profit. And that's the sort of person she was. You gave her a job to do, and she did it. And now, when she passed away, people started castigating her for that period of her career and talking about her management approach and that she was scathing on the budget, as if you wouldn't be. How else would you be able to turn losses into profit without having to reorganise the management structure and make the necessary cuts and adjustments in the budgets? And we know it's a universal discussion. The funding of the arts is an ongoing debate. And in fact, she did a huge amount with regard to developing the whole concept of sponsorship for a lot of the concerts, the Royal Shakespeare Company and the National Symphony Orchestra. But I also complained to the BBC, who did a broadcast on radio programme on BBC Radio 4, which I was very, very shocked by. And also the present incumbent in the job that she'd been in was retrospectively criticising her and using some very questionable descriptions and language in so doing. In my book, somebody who's the incumbent in the job at the moment to retrospectively criticise a previous incumbent, I don't believe that's on. And well, if you're doing it and you do it objectively and in an informed way, that's one thing. But this was not informed. And I was extremely upset by that, as were a lot of people. And I registered an official complaint with the BBC's complaint procedure. So rest in peace to all of the three that have gone, and my deep thanks to all of them for participating so enthusiastically and so with such good humour and such openness, and speaking so honestly without any affectation in the series of Generation. I'm indebted to them, and I know that the people who enjoyed them in the broadcasts throughout the UK and throughout Ireland were very entertained and found them very interesting. I have a large scrapbook, as you'd imagine, and I just did a collage of some of the reviews. Moving Family Stories, A Thinking Woman's TV Show, The Height of Achievement, Portraits of 8 Women and Power, Ireland's Women in Spotlight, Women with the Past. And then the one that I loved was Benny Green, the television critic in the Punch magazine in the United Kingdom, said in his on the Siobhan McKenna piece that in its way it was a valuable piece of social history, and in many respects I couldn't have hoped for more. That was what I was hoping that would come out of the series, and he spotted it. And so I was very pleased. And then I thought Lorna Hogg in the Monday morning of the Guardian newspaper, and they had this lovely piece right down the arts media page, and Lorna Hogg wrote about the series and reviewed it, and her title is Celtic Crossing. I thought that was very clever, very imaginative, and again reflective of what was in the programme, because of that kind of intermingling of the races back and forth from United Kingdom and Ireland, and the sharing of families. Detta O'Cohoin's mother was English, and Deirdre McSharry's mother was English, and Sybil Connolly's grandfather was Welsh. So there was all that kind of reflection there. So Celtic Crossing, I love that. So to Lorna Hogg for that lovely headline in the Guardian newspaper, and to Benny Green, who appreciated Siobhan McKenna's link with previous generations and what she contributed to by way of a valuable piece of social history. What more could I have hoped for? And I was very pleased with the results. So thank you very much for tuning into this. Through my new Porteo Media channel, I would hope to bring you some more creative pieces, and I look forward to meeting you again through this medium. And I really hope that you've enjoyed these 8 episodes of Generations Revisited. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.